to school sees that if I'm able to get a day, one blade, I'll make a lot of money. But that young boy is not aware of the future implications of what he's doing today. So I think that the current situation of Galamsey in Aonri in particular it's an epitome of what is happening in all other illegal mining areas. And it is very bad, it is devastating, and it will not help the future generation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nana. In fact, you've really raised an issue about whether we can really match the financial benefits that they are getting. I mean, a blade, see how light a blade is, 1,200 construction. Thank you very much, Nana, for that very good introduction. So now to the rest of my panelists, I'm coming to you. You are coming from different backgrounds or different sectors. We have government, research, we have Coco Ghana, an NGO and a conservation or environmental NGO. And then we have the EP, also government, more on regulatory, right? Regulatory. So this is a very diverse and very interesting mix of experts. So now the question that I have, I'll go around. The question that I have is, what are some of the interventions or actions that your organizations or institutions are taking, like in this fight against Galamsey? And what are some of the challenges that you have encountered in these actions that you're taking? So I'll start with you, Doc. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. I am coming from a research institution. We are mandated to conduct research in forestry and any related issues. And so we have focused our research to improve sustainable forest management, enhance livelihoods, and also for climate change mitigation. So, conducting research into the phytoremediation potential of different species. And I mean, for the doubt of those who don't know about it, yes,
can you
so
break it down for us a little bit?
Remediation potential is just a process where you would want to degrade or remove or immobilize a contaminant in the soil or in the water by using plant species. And so it's a nature-based solution. It is economical and it's environmental friendly. If you want to go the route of the actual reclamation, it's expensive. You need to do quite a lot. But when you use a nature-based approach, it is cheaper. But then the plants that will be able to do that must possess certain characteristics. For example, they have to be able to grow fast. They should be able to accumulate biomass and also thrive in stressful environment. And so over the past few years, we've been trying to conduct research to screen a number of species to determine which species have these characteristics, or which species have what we call able to accumulate these contaminants very fast in their organs. And we have had pretty very good results. At least now we have about 3 candidate species that we think we can recommend for people to use in some of these mining areas. And we are looking forward to screening a lot more species, about 20 or 30 species, indigenous species, to also improve biodiversity. And so this is where
share these 3, or you are waiting
yeah, okay, so I can really share too. So for example, a species which is the Terminalia superba is an ubiquitous species, which means that it can occur in every part of Ghana. And that is extremely important. That means that it can be used in other places. We have Terminalia hickory. In the local language, Nana, we call it Baku. And in the Terminalia superba, we call it Ofram. So we all know Ofram very well. We've seen that they have these potential. And so we need to screen additional species so that those can be used for.
These are all like hardy. Do you have what about shrubs? Do you have any shrubs?
No, they are trees. They just, so these are, we started with the tree species. Yeah. So, and we want to do more, but then of course you know the usual challenges. We need to be able to expand to the field. Yeah. So that is what we have. Restoration that you are doing it in the context of the potential changes in climate. So in addition to even the phytoremediation potential, you also have to have species that can thrive, for example, when there's drought or like reduction in rainfall. And over the past years, we also have screened speciation of that will be good for restoring these degraded areas. And the second thing we have done is also to
like hammer on the challenges. One
Okay,
or two
so
challenges that you.
yeah, so for us the challenges basically is the concern. It is in abundant in where I work, and so all that we need is to be able to source for funding. And so we've been trying to develop concept notes and writing proposals to be able to expand it. And a few times we have had also our research plots being encroached by communities. So some of these are some of the problems that sometimes we face.
All right. Thank you very much, Doc. Yes, Mr. Echo. What about you from EcoBank? I say EcoBank. Echo.
for me. Unit, anti Galamsey unit, to be a focal point for our farmers and stakeholders, which we call the crop protection unit. It has a team. Then, in terms benefit of cocoa as against the short-term benefit of cocoa, or the cost, or the long-term as against the short benefit of illegal mining or galamsey, or the long-term profitability of illegal mining, where you when you factor in the cost of the damage it causes. So farmers to come to that realization that they are better off living and keeping their farm for cocoa farming. We are also looking at trying to increase the revenue from cocoa to improve on the profitability of cocoa. So we embark on what we call a productivity enhancement program. I introduce pruning, pollination, subsidized fertilizer program, um, and mass spraying against pests and diseases, or to increase the to enable the farmer to produce more cocoa on the same piece of land to improve on the profitability. The other thing we saw was that there was a law in Ghana that protects the cocoa tree, the Economic Plant Protection Act 1979. Most of our farmers were not aware. So we create awareness campaigns for farmers to know the existence of that law. Once you know the existence of that law, there's issue of legal cost. Farmers shy away from the courts. So we give them legal support. Once you report to our zonal officer and our district officers, we give the farmers some legal support to see through the process in court. What we do first is to engage the stakeholders involved in the issue. Sometimes we engage them, sometimes traditional rulers, we engage them and they're able to solve the issue. If we are not able to solve it, we assist the farmer to go to court and test that law. Going forward, we are trying to consolidate that law with the cocoa law, and we are trying to make it more punitive for someone to destroy the cocoa tree. And it's ongoing. It's with the Ministry of Finance now. Ongoing very soon. How much did they get from cocoa rent? Land for cocoa renting out to cocoa. Testing the law.
TSO space. I know most of us know that we do a lot of advocacy on mining and mining related issues. I mean, as a result of the advocacy that we do, which is a good thing in our books, yeah, and that's also in the works. So when it comes to policy, um, that's a bit of what we do. But when we come to the ground level, we do a lot of research and restoration activities. Now, research in terms of after the land has been mined, we realized that in the field, a lot of the farmers go back to using the land for agricultural purposes. And this has led to the rise in high metal content in our food. And so one of the things we do is, I was very a lot. We are currently to the agricultural aspect. I'm based in the eastern region, and so we do a lot of cocoa. Yes, we do alternative livelihoods as well. Okay, so we have this Afromomum, which is also high yielding, and we are in no cash in the system, and so they end up going to in all aspects. There's a lot of markets for the food, water, a whole lot of things. Now, headlights, razor blade, all that. There's there's a thriving market for it, and so it makes the fight very difficult because any other source of income is really enough to match what they get when they go to Galamsey site, and also on the very
Morning. My name is Ahmed Salim Seidu. I'm with the Environmental Protection Authority. I work in the mining department. I've been I've been working with the agency for the past 12 years, seen a lot of work done in the space of small scale mining. First and foremost, I think this program was probably I was destined to come for this program. I got the notice just yesterday evening. Um, it reminds me of something that happened last week. A gentleman came to the office very frustrated, and he mentioned the fact that he had acquired a portion of family land to engage in legal small scale mining, and I was happy about it. But then the story changed. Um, just when he decided, people in the community actually jumped into the area and started mining illegally. In less than a month, the vegetation was gone. The place was completely turned upside down. And the pain alone told him that, or he decided that he wouldn't venture into mining again. So he came to the authority to find out if there's anything we can do to help him restore the land and then convert it into a large scale farm. The story started nicely, it went downhill, and it ended up on a good note because the intention was to restore and then convert it to an alternate land use that is environmentally sound, socially acceptable, and economically viable. That was a good thing about that story. Um, Back to the issue of Galamsey. There's a question I ask people every time. When your house is on fire, who do you call first? If you could tell me.
They'll call the neighbors. Bimuru.
Bimro,
Instead of the fire service.
instead of the fire service, but I do. The fire service is the first entity you follow. Yes. You wouldn't call a carpenter. Yes. I always start from that because with the issue of Galamsey, first and foremost, I don't think anyone here would believe that any state entity would promote an illegal activity such as Galamsey. First and foremost, I know no one will agree to that. The state is interested in benefiting from the mineral resources. He has also granted me an environmental permit. It's body in charge of any way, shape, or form. The challenge or where we come in when it comes to Galamsey is the aftermath of the issue. So that's why I asked what happens when your house is on fire. That it is a crime of that nature. One knows what they're about. Two is aware and abreast with the issues regarding the operation. Three is aware and knowledgeable and um, in the state to both financially, socially, in the state to ensure that whatever the impacts are, one, they are aware of them and they can either eliminate the impact or in cases where the impact cannot be eliminated, is ready to put in measures to avert or reduce the extent of those impacts. That is key to our work and it cuts across not just the mine sector. So that is the main thing that we look at. The challenges that we have are, well, probably won't feel this. It won't be enough. Like, there won't be will not be big enough to contain it. But the some space, like I'm saying, we get that collaboration. For example, I challenge when it comes to collaborating with other state agencies.
Rather than the education, I always ask, how long are we going to continue with the education? When are we going to crack the whip? I think that's what you're saying. So education can go on, but we need to also back it with cracking the whip, right? So that people sit up, right? So I think that's one thing that we need to be. So Nana, you started with us and you're ending this particular line of questioning. What about you as a traditional authority? What have you been doing in your community or traditional area to help with this fight? And I think you're doing as a traditional authority in your area to help.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. Most of the speakers they normally say the chiefs, we are part of the legal. It is true. In fact, and we pray to the gods that they should allow you to get more gold.
And women too, right?
Women, you see them, but these guys, you see them early morning with pickaxe, shovels, and enter into either the forest or the cocoa area just to survive. So you realize that the alternative livelihood is key. Truly, truly, most of them want one. Some of them, even when they go, some go underground, and at times they face a lot of risk. But at times, every hungry man is an angry man. So, if I get opportunity to meet stakeholders, I was saying, the EPA people at times they come to our area because it's a predominantly mining community. I look at how I can, in a way, create an alternative sort of income. If you see the women in the mining area, and I was going to say, you see the way they are attire will be so dirty, being in the pit. At times, I ask myself a lot of questions. You realize that they need to survive, and I think that if there's any way for them, alternative for them to survive, they wouldn't even dare to go. Even having known the environmental, issues. Some even getting water to wash is an issue. Although they are hungry looking for money, at the same time you realize that they also complain that the water bodies are destroyed. So you realize that for you to be able to solve the problem, you need to really find a way for them to survive. And that is what we at Asian leaders we have to do. In fact, we have the right, the surface right, but the mineral right, we don't have it. It is entrusted in the hands of the government. But you have to start from the surface before you go down. So if the surface is saying, I will not allow you to go down, you have a difficulty. But I think that most of the times the government fails to organize it. How do you call it? A fish farm, a very big commercial one. I've turned some of the old pits almost about 45 years ago into heavy pig farm. How do you call it? A fish farm, commercial, large commercial. So in our own small way, I realized that we need to find an alternative way for them to survive. If not that, you will speak, and because you can't feed them, it's very difficult for you to stop them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nana. I think the issue of economics, right, which Mr. Kwame, Mr. Michael Echo, you mentioned, I think that's where the challenge really is. But then that is this whipping, because if we are saying it's an issue of survival, would we say that it's okay for somebody to just barge into my house, put a gun to my head, and say, "I want to survive, so I'm coming for your money," you know? So I think we need to strike that balance, really, where we understand that yes, the youth requires some means of livelihood to survive, but also the next person has the right to the environment, the clean water, the safe food, that we need. So where do we strike the balance? What do we do to ensure that we're cracking the whip at the same time we are doing these other things that would help bring people out of poverty, right? Which sometimes drives this. So that's just a question for all of us to ponder on. Um, the next issues that I would like us to delve into is the issue about capacity. We all agree that communities and traditional authorities have the power to be able to make change, since they are the ones living at the grassroots level with the resources, right? And they are the gatekeepers, if I should put it that way, to the resources. I have an example, Arusha, Ghana, the Damong area, where some communities were actually able to stop Galamsey in their communities because they had an advantage also. There was a bridge, right? You need to pass the bridge to get to the other side, and the community that was by the bridge blocked the bridge. Anybody that is coming there with their trucks and all these other things, even with the illegal logging, they were able to block the bridge and prevent these people from crossing over to the other side. And they were backed by their chief, right? So we have these kind of strong opposition, if I should put it that way, but positive opposition from communities to some of these things that tend to, destroy the environment and also affect the livelihoods of other people. So how then do we empower communities? How do you think we can empower communities in your looking at the mandates that you have as an institution? What are some of the things that you are doing or can strengthen in order to empower communities and our traditional authorities to be able to wield and to exercise, this power that they have? Do they even know that they have this power?
Okay, so thank you very much. I think that sometimes we get the framing of the problem wrong, and we do not analyze within the context of where the problem is taking place. And so, to be able to empower people, you need to understand the problem even within the context that it is happening. You did indicate that is a very complex problem. I had to do a case study in a community where community mining was taking place. The previous administration was promoting community mining to ensure responsible mining and direct benefit to the community. So, in two communities where they were implementing it, I decided to study those communities, and you could see the benefit from the community mining that they were implementing. Even they were implementing the community mining when they were in the process of the registration that they were implementing. And I could physically see with my own eyes the benefit that the community mining was bringing to this very remote community that did not have even a cheap compound, had dilapidated schools, and had pit mining close by the site. And I really witnessed a day that they call paying day. And the number of people on that day and the amount of is unbelievable. They were sitting close by the resource, right? And they have very dilapidated roads, no healthcare, no school, whatever. So it's really very, very complex. So you have to understand the context within which that is happening. And then, based on your understanding of the context, then you can decide with the right education that you do, and even the right approach, and also to them don't really know. Just say, but please, madam, we are sitting right by the resources. Look at our roads. Come and see our cheap compound. What the skills of these communities to engage in alternative livelihoods, to understand the rules and regulation governing, and then also be able to be empowered to be part of the decision making process. So for me, this is what I think in a nutshell. But then we cannot solve the problem using just one approach. You see, you have to have a multi-pronged approaches, and all of that should effectively be taking place at the same time. As you enforce the law, you make sure that you are working to eliminate the underlying causes. So that's what.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Doc. Yes, sir.
Just to add on, since I'm interested in cocoa farming,
Yeah.
I think we need to find a way of formalizing a sharecropping arrangement to give the cocoa farmers some rights that they can use to fight some of these illegal operators.
By formalizing, what do you mean?
Um, do we get some? Can we get some documentations that give us some form of validity?
No, I really I think there's been quite some resistance about that. For like sharecropping.
We don't sell our land, we lease it. So any land that is given has a period to expire. For example, in my case, when I came, I realized that most of the lands that my sister gave has expired. So if you don't come back to it, I will take it back. So indeed, when we give you a cocoa farm, we lease it, we give it to you for a period. Now it's almost like 50 years. So within that period, it belongs to you. Unless, of course, you fail to do the documentation. In that case, when you go to go and say, bring a sample, you will have it. But obviously, most of the cocoa farms, most of the farmers have been given a list for them to. So in that case, the chiefs hardly come in when you have issues. Thank you.
But I think you're talking about another step
Yes,
beyond just the site plans and
not really, because it involves cost. Most of these smallholder farmers are small scale,
Yeah.
on 3 hectare,
Yeah.
3 hectare farm.
Right.
They don't earn enough. They may not be able to pay for
Yeah.
the legal processes. But to add on, maybe to promote it among the farmers, to ask for some formal arrangements. As Nana said, some of them
Not
they
just
inherited
word
the
of
land,
mouth.
yes, from their great grandfathers, and they've been farming on it only for tomorrow to see that there's a late illegal mine. You go back to the chief, how it has expired a long time ago, it doesn't belong to you. I was only considering you on the land. So we need to promote that among the cocoa farmers to be able to,
Some education.
yes, some education. I also think that we need to change our approach to awareness creation. We need to emphasize more on the effects on food security, on on water pollution, and how it is impacting on their lives. Real stories we can show to them to see the impact, to change their thinking. But for me, if you look at it, my involvement in illegal mining tells me that the key people are investors. They are the root cause. How do we use law enforcement to get these people? We have beautiful
They're not the
laws.
ones on the ground.
They are not the one on the ground. I went to one community, and the story they are not the ones on the ground. The buying a pit is too expensive. You may not get the money to do it. So the investor will buy it and get a foreman there. The foreman will get the people, pay them. They may go 2 days, they don't get anything. You have to pay them. And maybe a third day they'll get more than pay for compensation for. So the real people behind illegal money, for me, we need to find a way of reaching out to them. I don't know,
That's
using
a
the
million
law.
dollar question.
Yes, that's what I don't think.
Um, I think the major concern is education. So in a real life story, when you were young, you see this. Is it a NCC? NCC. They'll be coming to the communities and they'll show us films. Every community in Ghana, every community. So we have NCC in every municipal or district. So this time around, you realize, okay, if I take 100,000 today, in the next few months or a year, I'll have effects. I'll have some sickness. Then you think twice before you take that money. So we have to show to them real life programs that legal money is going on in every community. So you have to use the NCC, they have to come back. So as they come, the EPA and those things are part, and the children will see it. They will come. So it's a film. Want to see how it looks like. So the drinking. So we have to clearly. So
Okay.
that thing will do enough for us to have even from the our children will understand it and the agent will understand that today. Don't cocoa now. 1 acre of 1 acre of a mining cocoa is almost about 200,000. How do you sell it? Oh yes, 200,000. A fresh cocoa.
I see.
Yes, that's one time. The old one, the old one is 150. But now you can take the 200,000 today. Then your waters will be destroyed, and you have sickness. I mean, when you give bad issues, mercury. So we have to educate them on these issues. I mean, so that when they understand it, I think we can reduce it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just point.
Just something little. So I agree with Nana on the education. The approach is the most important thing. Now, what's the approach will be? People always say that the kingpins are the problem. If we get the kingpins, it will stop. One thing about the kingpins is what that people always forget is this: they are businessmen. Wherever their money will work for them, they will send the money there. So as long as we create room for them to make the money, they will always come to these areas and establish these illegal mining operations. So now the onus lies on us to educate our people on the effects of illegal mining. When they get the understanding, even when the money comes, when the people, the so-called kingpins come and entice us to get into it, knowing the implications, they will then resist it and they'll be forced to push their monies elsewhere.
So, yes, can you conclude on this particular issue for us? I know you've been working a lot with communities. So
Yes,
yes.
yes. One of the areas we talk about is education. But when you're on the ground, right? I'm always on the ground. When you're on the ground and you see that the people know the impact,
Yeah.
they know.
They don't care.
Someone told us we came to the Eziama area and then we went out who had gone to, he had closed and he was having, I think, a gold nugget of worth about 32,000 from 4 hours of work on the mining site. Yep.
Wow.
And he was telling us that, you see what he has done right now? With the money he has got, he's going to buy a motorbike. Now he's targeting his father's cocoa farm because, because yes, because there's this myth that wherever there's cocoa, there's gold, right? He's targeting his father's cocoa farm, and that the revenue that they are going to generate from the farm cannot match what he gets in barely 4 hours. And this evening he's going to a party, he's going to a pub, so we should come, he'll spoil us. But then, in across different fields, you realize that the people know the impacts when it comes to there's a rising issue in child labor in the mining sites, in Galamsey sites. People know the impact. We have cases of children born with defects. They are happening to the community people, so they know the impact, right?
So why are they still the money?
It's a survival. Survival.
Are you sure? Yeah, I think it's gone beyond survival at some point. Because he said to go and spoil you. What does spoiling you got to do with survival?
No, so
It's
his
beyond
his
survival.
his mindset is the fact that he's going to die soon because of the mercury they have been using. He knows that he doesn't have long life, right? But he will not suffer before he dies. Exactly. You see, we are talking about a multifaceted approach. We are talking about collaboration because a lot of us are working in silos. There are very good initiatives on the ground, but you won't find them because everybody is working in silos. EPA is working in silos. Minerals Commission is working in silos. CSOs are working in silos. Nananum are working in silos. Research is working in silos. So at the end of the day, research will do their research. And yes, it's on a shelf because industry is not interested or we are not collaborating to come together to actually push the research that has been done into the field. And so at the end of the day, I think we all need to come together. We have to push on the ground. Recently, I was having a discussion with Daryl, and I was saying that I was tired of hearing the conversation of Galamsey, always focusing on challenges. Okay, we see the impact. Okay, yeah, the impact is on this, on that. What are we doing? What can we do? In your little corner, even if you are a bank, what can you do? You can finance an institution to actually implement something on the ground. And if everybody is doing something in their little corner, you don't need to come together and form a coalition before you can work together, but you can collaborate. I mean, oh, CSOs, we have platforms that bring CSOs together. This is what Arusha is doing. This is what Rikoto is doing. What do you think we can do? Or has there been any initiative on the ground that is already working so that we don't have to recycle initiatives over and over again? When regulation is working and we are building capacity, we are creating awareness. Nananoms are also making sure that traditional customs are being followed. Research is pushing their research, industry is connecting. At the end of the day, we realize that even though we are working in our little corners, we are collectively championing and fighting against illegal mining. And I want to commend, there's this community in Gemma recently. Yes, Gemma. Yes, last week. And we are so proud when we hear them talk about the fact that they are not allowing mining. And that means that sensitization has really worked, you know, and it gives us a clear and a practical example of what we can achieve when we set our minds to it. So at the end of the day, we all need to come together and work in our little corners so that together we can fight the fight of Galamsey.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was going to give a conclusion, but there's no better conclusion than this one. Please let's give her a round of applause. So there was a final question on partnership. This one I'm going to throw it open. Anybody who wants to talk about how we can enhance partnership, which is I think what she just concluded on. Yes. So, it doesn't have to go wrong.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So I was very happy with your submission. And so for the partnership to work, we need to really sit down and clearly define the common goal clearly and ensure that that goal aligns at least with the interest of all the organization.
We already have the goal. The goal
Yeah,
is we don't want Galamsey.
No, you don't want Galamsey, but you could see that we want to solve it from different. We understand the problem differently, and we are framing the problem differently. So we need to sit around the table, do a proper problem analysis, and define the objectives. So once we define the objectives, and then we have to respect each other's role in all of that. When we respect each other's role, we'll be able to call each other when there's a need to tap into a certain expertise. And then usually we need to leverage on the resources that we have so that we don't continue to reinvent the wheel. If you are going to work in the same area and somebody already did a baseline assessment, you don't go waste money repeating that baseline assessment. And then we should just foster the collaboration both with informal relationship. And we have been doing well in building the multi-stakeholder platform for sharing of information. And I think that when we continue to do that, we will definitely achieve something for Mother Ghana.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Just to add on, I think in all cases we need to have some leadership
Yes.
in our fight against illegal mining. As you said, beautiful proposal, but somebody need to coordinate that. After that, we need to do some mapping.
Who can coordinate that?
That is a big challenge.
Suggest.
I would have suggested EPA.
EPA. Okay.
Yes, looking at their mandate to take that leadership and bring all of us on board. Then we'll do mapping and find out who is doing what. Then we put as we synergize them, then get the impact that we want.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent.
To add to what Doc just said, EPA is now an authority.
Yes.
Yes.
I have to remind myself all the time.
Yes. We have this challenge on the ground where EPA doesn't deal with illegal mining until after the fact. Minerals Commission does not also deal with illegal mining. They issue license to people who want to embark or engage in licensed mining. So now, who enforces or makes sure that my Galamsey, as we call it, becomes a thing of the past? There is no clear, defined agency or institution set out to fight. And now we have NIMOS, but even they are poorly resourced. So how much can they do? At the end of the day, we still have to all come together. Me, I would rather wish that EPA enforces their authority because they are enforcement. When it comes to environmental and social safeguards, they are there. You see, we don't have to wait. Recently, practical example, and I'll bring my conclusion to an end. Bunso in the eastern region, there's a operator who was going closer to the boundary of PGRI. They had done some research, right? They were going closer to the boundary. And then they are not, it's like a no man's land, it's like an off area. And they were mining there. Now, the chief called us, telling us that we collaborate a lot over there. So the chief called us saying that this is what is happening and he needs us to voice out on it. We call CSIR, and CSIR says that so far as they have not encroached onto their land, they don't have a problem. EPA will also say that who does the land belong to? It is like a no man's land, and so they will also not touch it. Everybody was waiting for the miners to actually touch water or touch their property before they make noise about it. But armed robbery, you don't have to wait for the armed robber to come to your house before you know that we have to shout that armed robbery is illegal. We don't have to wait. We have to be proactive in our actions, in our decisions. We don't have to wait till after the fact before we come and conduct research on why it happened that way, or after the fact, and then we want to create alternative livelihoods for to support people in those areas. We need to be proactive. At the end of the day, if we are partnering, it should be a proactive effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Nana, let me finish. Then you conclude for us. I want you to conclude for us. Yes. Oh, no, please don't attack him. He begged.
No, no, we never
Nana, you
culture.
conclude for us.
But I agree when people say it's it's fair to say that we expect EPA to lead the fight. The we we are ready to do it. The challenges that we face in that regard. Let's take the illegal miners. You go to an illegal mining operation with the intent of getting them to cease the operation, and you are met with armed men. Recently, our team was attacked in Obuasi. I don't know whether any of you heard. Um, my CEO was part. I have colleagues who were part, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are instances where we have gone to places to work, mining related, not even necessarily illegal mining related, and we were attacked to the extent that a colleague of mine ended up in the hospital. I ended up in the bush somewhere, had to be rescued by the police. Yes, these are some of exactly these are things that happen on the ground. EPA is ready and willing to lead the fight. Now the challenge is we do not have that capacity to, like I said, it's an illegality. So if you look at it, and for all intents and purposes, that is the best way to approach it. We do not have the capacity to arrest and prevent people, especially looking at the situation on the ground, stop people from engaging in illegal mining. We don't work with guns. We are not armed, or we don't have a military attachment like the Forestry Commission that has the military at the rapid response team, who are most often than not armed. We do not have that. So it will be difficult, even though I'm ready and willing, it will be difficult for me to just jump in a vehicle, get to a Galamsey site, and then start throwing myself around, shouting and telling people to stop. Trust me, I will get myself shot. And I am not, that is the fact of the matter. Collaboration with the security agencies, it is, there are instances where we have done that. I remember in 2017.
Can we like wrap up?
Sure. There are instances where you've done that and it has worked, but until um, such things are institutionalized, it will be difficult for EPA to lead the fight physically. We can do that on radio, on TV, the speeches, the write ups, beautiful ones, but physically, it will be difficult for us to do that.
Great. Thank you very much. Nana, I want to give you the final word as the Nana of the house. But we have in our midst, initially, we're hoping we could get a representative from the Forestry Commission. She couldn't come in, I think, due to some other engagements, but she's here now. My one and only, Madame Valerie. She's with the Forestry Commission. She's the head of plantations. Director, sorry. I think I'm still talking about the director for please give me the right director of operations for plantations at the Forestry Commission. Do you want to say a few words before Nana concludes everything for us? Yes, madam, please.
Good morning, everybody. we are privileged to be here today because this is a very important meeting, but so many things have happened that prevented us from getting here earlier. But we are happy that we were invited. The chief executive himself is at Parliament at the moment, defending so many things. So we had to quickly come in and participate in this. Galamsey has become a national security threat. And I think that's what we have all been discussing. With the gathering here, the little I want to say is that we have realized that Nananum and the communities can really help us to stop Galamsey. All the institutions we can do our very best, but we have very good examples of what Nananum and communities have done, even without a gun, without anything. I always use the example of Mampo. When the chief said, I do not want mining in my area, and as we speak, no reserve in Mampo has been touched. No illegal mining has gone on in the Mampo entire enclave. So we know Nananom have the power, and when they decide that they don't want Galamsey in their areas, it will not happen. We have some communities in Nkari who were able to mobilize among Wasi in the Nkari district. They mobilized, they arrested the Galamsey operators and took them to the police station before they called the Forestry Commission. They were inside the reserves mining. So partnerships are very important. We can do the advocacy and all that, but we need to get Nananum and those who are the real owners and close to the source of the minerals to play a lead role. And definitely with the Forestry Commission, we have adopted a four-step approach. That's law enforcement and then sensitization of the communities and all stakeholders like you are doing now. And then reclamation, reclaiming the areas that have been disturbed by Galamsey, because it's amazing. If you go to some of the pits, backfilling alone before you even decide to plant anything is not a joke. The amount of money involved, it has been quoted between $20,000 to $40,000 before you can reclaim a hectare of a destroyed site. Whether it's for farming, it's for forestry, it is a major thing that we all need to look at. But I am hopeful that with this project and with the advocacy that is going to go on, we'll get more Nananum and more communities supporting us. And hopefully we can make some progress.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much for those very important points and telling us what the FC is currently doing, and also hammering on the strength that communities have really in this fight. So Nana, this one, please close us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Mommy, when you went to Jema, did you see EP officer there? Did you see Mega Commission officer there? So please give all the powers to the communities. We'll fight it. It's a community. Because how the community is fortified. You don't need any external to come in. So I think we have to pioneer the the effort to stop illegal mining. So I think we have our libation alone can stop a lot of things. We can pour libation for excavator even not to move. Yes. Yes. So I think that collaboration is good, the law is good, but we on the ground who actually have the effect of the illegal mining should be able to protect it, and so that before even it comes to the top, we will do it ourselves. So thank you very much.
So ladies and gentlemen, please let's give our panelists a loud round of applause. I think it's been a very insightful discussion. Do we have time for, or we don't have any time? 5 minutes. Okay. So we have 5 minutes. Any questions? Please go straight to the point. Try and be crisp with your questions or any contributions quickly, then we can close the session. You can direct it to a particular person if it's something that somebody in particular has to address. Yes, but please let's be very direct and short.
My name is Rosemary Adiku. I work for Solidarity West Africa, and I manage our gold program. So we've been promoting responsible mining, and I think the problem has to do with us moving those people, the Galamsey, to responsible mining, because the kind of money they are making is not easy getting them alternative livelihoods or get them that money. So it's all about helping them to do the right things. How do we do that? Last week I was in Asawinso, so where we met illegal miners. We're trying to see how illegal miners and cocoa farmers can live in harmony. So we asked them so many questions. So we're asking the illegal miners, why are you into this? And then they said, the process of formalization is so long. If I have to register, I need like 12,000 Ghana cedis before I can go through the process. And then the licensing takes more than 2 years to get the license. I can't wait. So there are so many things that are wrong that we need to also
Streamlining the
yes.
process.
And then, like Anna said, yes. So we had a meeting, realized that the communities, the chiefs, we need all of them. And let's not think that Ghana is only doing only negative things. 2 years ago, I went to BBNE. Then last week, I have seen a lot of changes. The hotels, all built by Galamsey money. So if you are a young person, you are there, you've seen another young person who has
Building a
built,
hotel. Yeah.
asking me to stop will be difficult, but help me to do the right things.
Okay. Excellent.
Yes, so
Excellent.
let's help them
Thanks
to do
so
the
much,
right thing.
Madam. Any other comments, question?
Okay, so good afternoon. Good morning. So good morning. My name is Nanaya. I work with a platform called the Cocoa Farmers Alliance Association of Africa. For me, we have our DCs. I think that there should be a clear demarcation between agricultural land and any other land that will be used for any other purpose. I think that would also ease this whole conversation and fight. I think we have spoken at length on Galamsey. It is time, as our panel member just said, let's come together as partners. And I think this one is a political thing, and hold our politicians to demarcate the 9 cocoa growing regions, or if it's 7, please, it is a security zone. No mining in these areas. At least once gold can grow at that place, it is possible we might get food, other food crops growing to those places. And so beyond cocoa, we can do other plantations. And I think this is one of the shortest way to go in terms of conversations. And then you can open up other places for miners to survive, as my sister just said. Others are surviving by illegal mining.
Thank you. All right. That's it. Okay. Thank you very much. Please let's give the panelists another round of applause. Thank you, my panelists.
Thank you very much, Sadia. Thank you very much, panelists. It's been very insightful, a lot of information coming out. A lot of cocoa lands being destroyed. Cocoa board themselves will tell you we have about 30,000, in fact, over 30,000 hectares destroyed, and 50. And hopefully, we should be able to nip this challenge in the bud. We have 3 more important programs to undertake before we end this session.